Kanye West has always been a magnet for headlines, but this time, the conversation isn't about music, fashion, or presidential campaigns. It's about something way more personal, way more unexpected, and deeply raw. In a moment that stunned fans and critics alike, Kanye revealed that he had an experience with a man as a teenager. It wasn't a rollout, it wasn't tied to an album, it wasn't a publicity stunt. It was real, honest, and it shook up the culture in a way that only Kanye can. And it didn't take long for Boosie Badazz to jump into the conversation. If you know anything about Boosie, you know he doesn't hold back. Ever. His opinions are loud, controversial, and come with a tone that always gets people talking. He's known for speaking from the gut, from what he believes, without filtering a single word. And his reaction to Kanye's revelation was just as loud as you'd expect. Boosie's response wasn't a tweet or a polished press statement. It was real-time energy, raw, unfiltered, and coming from a place that mixed confusion, disbelief, and his signature defiance. He's someone who has always stood on what he sees as traditional masculinity. His brand, his music, even his interviews are soaked in that mindset. So to hear that one of the most iconic figures in hip-hop was publicly sharing such a personal truth that pushed against all those old ideas, that hit different for Boosie. He didn't shy away from how shocked he was. His face said it all before he even opened his mouth. The surprise wasn't just in what Kanye said, it was in who said it. This is Kanye West we're talking about, the man who once stood on stage next to Jay-Z, who called himself a god, who built an empire by being unapologetically bold. And now, here he was, peeling back a layer of himself that no one saw coming. Boosie, like many others, couldn't believe it. But as the moment settled in, the deeper questions started rising. What does this mean for Kanye? What does this mean for the culture? For a long time, hip-hop has carried this unspoken rulebook. What's allowed, what's frowned upon, and what gets pushed to the side. And while the world has started to change, and artists have begun breaking those old molds, there are still people, like Boosie, who are holding on to the way things used to be. In his reaction, Boosie didn't outright disrespect Kanye, but he definitely made it clear he didn't understand it. He said what a lot of people from his era and environment were probably thinking, but didn't want to say out loud. He questioned why Kanye would share that information. He asked what the purpose was. He challenged the timing, the intention, and even the truth behind the confession. For Boosie, it felt like a break from the version of Kanye he thought he knew. But that's the thing about Kanye. He's never been predictable. From interrupting Taylor Swift at the VMAs, to endorsing presidents, to dropping gospel albums after dropping trap beats, Kanye has always been moving to the beat of his own mind. And maybe that's what makes this moment so important. He's not doing this for shock value. He's not doing it for headlines. He's doing it because he's finally in a space where he can. And whether Boosie agrees or not, that's a powerful thing. What we're witnessing is bigger than a headline. It's a shift in how masculinity and vulnerability are shown in hip-hop. Kanye admitting to something so personal, something so taboo in certain circles, is shaking the foundations of what the genre has long stood on. And Boosie's reaction, while intense, is part of that process. He's representing a large chunk of the community who still view these topics through an older, more rigid lens. There's tension here. Cultural tension. Generational tension. And it's all being played out in real time. Kanye is saying, "This is my truth." Boosie is saying, "This ain't how we were raised." And somewhere in the middle, fans are forced to pick a side, or better yet, open their minds. This moment has already sparked debates across social media, on podcasts, in barbershops, and on the corners. Some people are praising Kanye for being brave, saying his honesty could help others who felt silenced or ashamed. Others are siding with Boosie, saying the culture isn't ready for this kind of openness, especially from a figure like Ye. The conversation is messy, loud, and uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And let's be real, this ain't the first time Boosie and Kanye have stood on opposite sides of the culture. Boosie's views have always leaned toward the traditional, the old-school way of thinking. Kanye, on the other hand, is all about breaking the mold, even if it costs him fans, deals, or respect. That clash isn't just between two men. It's a reflection of hip-hop as a whole. A genre born in the streets, now navigating a new world of identity, emotion, and evolution. There's also a deeper layer to this: mental health, childhood trauma, and healing. Kanye didn't share this part of his past for entertainment. It felt like a weight he needed to get off his chest, a burden he's been carrying. When someone shares something like that, it's not about shocking the world. It's about finding peace with yourself. And that's where empathy has to come in. Even if Boosie doesn't understand, even if others judge or clown, there's someone out there who heard Kanye's words and felt less alone. Someone who's been hiding their truth because they were scared of being rejected, mocked, or attacked. And for that person, Kanye's words might be life-changing. The truth is, hip-hop is growing up. It's learning how to make room for new voices, new stories, and new truths. That doesn't mean forgetting where it came from. It just means expanding, making space. Kanye's confession isn't about changing hip-hop. It's about adding depth to it. And Boosie's reaction, while jarring, is part of the growing pains. Nobody's saying you have to agree. Nobody's saying you have to cheer. But listening, that's free. And that's how real change starts. This conversation isn't going away anytime soon. It's only going to grow louder as more people step into their truth, as artists, fans, and even critics start to wrestle with what authenticity really means in 2025. Kanye is paving a new path. Boosie's reminding us of the old one. And the rest of us are left walking the tightrope in between. One thing's for sure, hip-hop will never be the same again. And maybe that's not such a bad thing.